Welcome, every pony, to Peckers. This is part 2 of episode 4. Kind of works out that this is episode 4 because now it's like the last one was like episode 3. So it's like part 1 of episode 4 is now episode 3. So this is... Anyway, if you haven't seen the first part of this, you should probably check it out. It'll add some context to kind of what we're talking about and just round out the experience overall. So thank you so much for watching. Please press like on the video and enjoy the rest of the episode.
So we have creators out there, right? We've seen this time. It's a tale as old as time, right? Creators who do the commentary type videos, and they make these, they wax on poetically about this and that, whatever, and they chastise this creator, that creator, whatever else, right? And then the spotlight gets directed back to them, and you have to wait to see. And some of them can handle it. They don't melt underneath the pressure. And then others completely and totally become unhinged. They can't take it.
Yeah.
Right? So some of the, and it's been a while since we've had one in this community of this happening, right? Where we've had
Tipster.
Tipster probably was the last one. And here's the thing about it, right? Honestly, truthfully, Tipster really, there was a few people that kind of made a few streams here and there and kind of laughing at him, yuck, 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 whatever else, right? But none of the more, I'm going to say, for lack of a better word, bigger creators or ones that are looked at as, I don't know, the
big and scary ones. Yeah,
like the Diorios or the, people like that didn't really come at him too hard. They did a little stuff on Twitter. They kind of laugh, ha ha ha, whatever, right? But nothing really. I mean, now recording, they kind of went a little bit there, but it wasn't like a flaying of the flesh from the skin or from the bones. I mean, it wasn't scathing per se. And he really crumpled like a deck of playing cards, right? A house of cards. He really kind of just.
I'll be honest with you. There is a part of me that feels a little bit, let's say, bad about that.
Why?
And well, because like I get it. Like I get the I get it. It's a lot when people are coming down on you, even like when it's just on Twitter or whatever it is.
Okay, but hang on.
I have some sympathy, is what I'm saying.
All right, hang on. Let's dig a little deeper into this.
Sure.
One, right? So Tipster rose to fame within the commentary community because of his coverage of the whole Susie Lou situation. And if you go to Tipster's video channel to this day and you type in Susie Lou, go look at how many videos he made on that chick.
Listen.
Now, hang on.
Okay.
And then she kind of had a little, whatever, a little bit of a, temper tantrum, whatever you want to call it, right? And what have you. Okay, fine. But then Tipster, when it was done to him, right, the same thing happened, right? He had a little temper tantrum, a little hissy fit, right?
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is this, right? Every creator out there that makes content, D-Max, myself, Augie, Nick, Bo Blacks, Tommy C, the Now Recording Boys, Xylee Gets Real, Ruin Leon, right? We all live in glass houses.
Right.
And we're all out here throwing our little stones. Some of us throw stones bigger than others, right? Some of us throw a lot of stones. Some of us throw a few stones, right? But we're all throwing stones. And so when the stones come back at us, right, we can either sit there and start crying and whining about people talking about us and having a conniption fit, which is what Tipster did.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Or
we can sit there and we can say, you know what? I dished it. I, by God, better well be able to take the criticism. Right?
Yeah.
And so, but see, but Tipster didn't take it.
Right.
Because he didn't think it was just. He didn't think it. And so he became the next, he hit his ultimate form of lolcow, right?
Yeah.
And so boom.
And that's, I think, that's the switch, right? I think that's how a lot of people
Yeah.
end up becoming lolcows, is that exact cycle.
So I don't have a okay. You want to feel sorry? Feel sorry. I don't.
I feel sorry. Like, I feel sorry in the sense of just like, it's like, when you watch one of those videos where it's like Jackass, right? It's like like somebody on Jackass gets hurt. I feel sorry in the sense of just like, oh, that looks like it hurts, but like, I don't feel sorry in the sense of just like, well, this was terrible that the universe did this to you. It's like, well, you kind of did it to yourself. Like, you knew what you're signing up for, kind of a thing.
So yeah, so if when the guys get kicked in the nuts, you're like, ooh, you grimace, right? Because like, God dang, I've been hitting the balls before. Shit hurts, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, when it's not like, I
But
guess
then
when
I
it's not
laugh.
self-imposed.
I laugh.
Sure.
I'm like,
well, and like I said, I'm a moody guy, so maybe it just depends on my mood too. Because like,
Jesus.
Because like, I mean, it's true.
Take your mind off for
willing
crying out loud. Shit.
Sometimes I'm willing to laugh at people, and sometimes I just feel a little bit bad because I can relate and I can understand. Like, hey, this is life is a hard thing, and we're all going through it.
When I see people like Tipster, or here's another one, right? Savo pancakes.
Okay.
And when I see them, and when the spotlights turn back on them and the scrutiny starts coming back at them, I watch them, and I watch them from the standpoint since it's okay. Let's see, do they handle it, and how do they handle it? And then I look at it like game film, because I know eventually one of these days it's going to be, the light is going to be come at me full force. I fully expect this. Because I'm going to say something, I'm going to do something. It's going whatever. I'm either going to step off in it, or it's going to be misconstrued, or whatever the situation is going to be. I fully expect this to happen. So I try to look at this as a cautionary tale to learn from, and say, okay, so this person did this, and this was so I'm not going to do that. And this person did that, and then this was the outcome of that. And so I try to look at it so that I don't do those mistakes.
But see, what I'm saying is like the ultimate thing of that, and why the reason I think that it won't happen to you is because you're smart enough not to double down stupidly. You're smart enough not to fight it. Like, I mean, if there's a false narrative or something like that, I would expect full force that you would fight that as much as you could. But I think even in those types of circumstances, would realize, at a certain point, it's an uphill battle. It's kind of a losing battle. There's no reason. I've made my peace. I've said my piece, and I can move on. The difference between all those people you mentioned is that like they tried to fight it and they just couldn't. They locked their jaw and they couldn't. Like
they
open.
Couldn't release. Yeah,
they couldn't release. So. I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, and so this is what I'm saying is that like, to I guess to kind of tie everything together to try to wrap it up, like fake beef is fine. It's good. It's not bad, especially when, times is hard at the moment in commentary. There's not a lot going on, not a lot to talk about. Everybody's going back to school. So all of the young Spurgs have left us again. So there's just no content. And that's why people start the fake beef kind of thing. And that's good. Yeah. But these types of things are the reason why people lose their brain cells. Because like you said, Riv, like you had said at the very top of this show, you have a life where you go to work, you have your family, you do stuff offline, right? There's a lot of people who that is not the case, or they are more online than you, or the only interactions they really have with people are when they're online. And while I agree that shouldn't be the case, these people should have lives beyond that. I can understand why they might take things a little bit more personal when this type of thing happens literally within their own space. So I have sympathy, but at the same time, I guess, like I said, this entire podcast was not so much like finger wagging or anything like that. It's just more like...
It was.
Well,
I'm wagging my finger at all these people. Every one of you. I'm setting judgment of all of you people.
Well, that's because you sit outside on your patio with your shotgun and your rocking chair, old man. But that's
Get off
different.
my grass.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So... yeah, and to be honest, like I guess I'm doing that a little bit just because it's like, this is more of my call to everybody. If you hear me say I am a neutral party in that, what that means is I don't want any fucking part of this. Like I am sick and tired of this shit. I'm done. I'm done. I'm moving on. I don't care. I just don't care. Whatever your people's fights are, whatever it is, like whatever you come up with, it's cute and it's fine and it's funny, I'm sure, but like I just can't do it right now because if I did, I would make it real. And that's
Ooh.
really, really, I guess, more what I'm saying, because
So you're being a prickly little pear, then, is what you're saying.
yeah, I can be a little prickly. Like, that's the thing, is like, I make no bones about it. Like, I can be a
Yeah.
bit like, listen, it's a wonder I haven't spurred. It's a wonder. It really is. No, because like I am that kind of person where it's like I
Yeah.
get autistic about things. I want to, put things
Yeah.
in boxes. I want to
Yeah.
understand them and
Sure.
compartmentalize and be able to like
Sure.
really put it away. But the thing is, you can't do that. Like, what I've learned is that you just can't do that. I'm 28 years old. I've been on the internet now for the better part of like 20 years. I've seen it. I've literally seen it. And like I know that like this is not you're not going to win. And and what I've learned is that like when you get in that mode, you try to remove yourself as best as you can, and you go take a walk, or you go scoop out leaves from a gutter like I did yesterday, which is why I was gone for most of the day, because I was just doing housework. Because I'm like, I just need something else to try to get away from all of this shit. So yeah,
Yeah.
we shouldn't force people to be in fake beef. That's another thing I wanted to say.
Yeah.
And I think that
wonder.
it's a hard thing, because nobody wants to be the party pooper or anything like that. But that's something that needs to be stated.
So it's one of the things that I want to kind of loop back real quick, because you brought it up while we talked about the final episode of the original baited podcast, right, with the original crew, Tommy and Clown and Keemstar. There was a point in there where Clown had put a question to Zoe. And this is the thing that I want to wrap this all up, right?
Okay.
Where when she was answering the question to Clown, and we talk about this on that episode of Clear as Mud. She tells Clown that when Keem put that tweet out originally, alluding to the fact that she very well could be if the roles were reversed and she was a guy and was doing this to girls or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
That this, whatever, right? She says, he didn't check with me beforehand. There was nothing I could do about it. The tweet was out there. The best thing I could do was try to make the best of the situation. And so I called him out after the fact, right? Because people started going and turning on Keem on Twitter because of that. And they got into the DMs, and then that's when they decided to convert it into this, quote, work was after the fact. Right. So Zoe let the proverbial cat out of the bag or whatever it was, right? That this was something that they decided to do after, because Keem was catching heat. Zoe was not in a good light. And Zoe already had a very tarnished reputation, because understand something, Zoe was the very first quote unquote, I would call e-whore, I guess, for lack of a better word. She walked so that all these other these young girls that are making content today are able to do what they do on Twitch.
I thought you were going to say e-creatures, and I was like, based.
No. So that these guys that are on there doing the hot tub streams and all these other stuff, like, she was the one who was doing all this stuff before these young ladies even, they were just teenagers. Right. Or preteens even, right? So Zoe will always have that as part of her legacy. Now, the point of it is this. What I would recommend, if you're wanting to get into where you're doing, quote, the entertaining, you want to do the yuck, fake beefs, or what do they call it? What is it? The hamburgers, the fake hamburgers, what are those things called? The
tofu burger?
No, almost
impossible burger.
You want to do the impossible beef, as it were, the fake beef. Maybe you get with the person ahead of time in the DMs or something and say, "Hey, I got an idea for some fun yucks," and it might be some good stuff to kind of build both of your channels up a little bit, right?
Yeah. So
ahead of time, so that you both understand that it's. And set some limits. Say, I'm fine, whatever, but this is some boundaries I'm not comfortable going into, or some areas I'm not comfortable going into, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever those are, because everybody's limits, everybody's line in the sand is different. Do that, especially if you don't have a real long history. And when I'm not talking about 6 weeks, guys. I'm talking about years of history with each other. So you kind of know, yeah, this is okay. And even then, guess what? There's no doubt in my mind. There's times when I say or do things like I poke fun at Max because he's a temperamental, soft little bitch.
Yeah.
That when I do something, it hurts his feelings.
Yeah.
And he doesn't come to me and let me know, hey, Riv, that kind of, because then he knows I'll just shit on him some more.
Right.
But but no, in all seriousness, I'm sure there's times, and if I have done that, I publicly want to apologize for that because I don't ever, because Max is my buddy, and I think
yeah, of course. But that's the thing is we know what we sign up for. I know what I signed up for with this. This is why like I said yesterday, I kind of removed myself from it all because I'm like, I signed up for this. Obviously I can't handle it right now. And so I just need to go take a walk, go do something else, because there's so many things you can do in life. It's not like I'm stuck here on Twitter or whatever, X. So yeah, I mean, I guess this is all cautionary tale. This is all, it's just, it's a curiosity. You know what? We'll go a little bit long. I don't care. Because I do have something else. I had a little while ago, like a few days ago or whatever, like a week ago, I think at this point, Spectre, I guess it was a joke. Yeah, no, but why not? Why not? Spectre,
it's just unworth all the worms here, right?
Yeah, because it's not on my mind anymore. It's actually a good example of like kind of, I don't know, just the way I operate. If in case anybody actually wants to know, like Abby, and I don't know where this came from. I'm guessing that they were on some stream or something, or maybe talking in the Discord. I don't know. I didn't see this, but Abby Blackbird had put out a tweet and was just like, and it took a screenshot of one of my shirts and it crossed out the 2 on commentary 2 and then written commentary 2 like TOO, right? And that's fine. That's like okay, how about that? This is one of those things where it's like, I know that I have no right in seeing that image and feeling a little bit of frustration with that because, and to be honest, I did, because like, and this is nobody's fault. This is my own fault. But this is where my brain went to. Is that like me doing the commentary 2 with the number 2 was supposed to be 2 as in 2, but also 2 as in TOO, So because like that was the joke is commentary 2. It's also commentary as part of the bit, so somebody kind of doing that in like a more obvious kind of way kind of irked me because it was like, people don't get this. Like they don't understand kind of what I was going with. And I was like, fuck, like that's not cool. But then Spectre came in and he started doing his bit, and Abby had basically put out the tweet saying that like she was going to do this with Spectre, something like that, right? And it doesn't matter because this isn't a big deal. And Spectre had taken that, and he had like basically I saw this, and honestly, what happened in my brain was like I was like, okay, listen. I don't really want to I don't really want to go into it with Abby because Abby will make videos and stuff, and I don't really want to make like videos about this right now. I'm kind of busy. So I don't want to attack Abby about this.
Beef.
Yeah, I know. So I'm like, I don't really want to attack Abby right now because I don't want that. So I'll just say
the beef.
Abby's done. I'll just say that Abby is not related to this beef, and I will just implicate Spectre with it, and then that's where we'll start and whatever, right?
We get shit on Spectre. I love shitting on Spectre.
Well, that's the thing is like, and I had no problem with Spectre's, at all. Like I never had a problem with them. And so this started happening, and we kind of had this back and forth and stuff like that. And it's more so, it's just like, it's the thing. It's not. It's hard, man. It's so hard to explain because it's not even necessarily the things that were said or whatever. But at some point, for me, I'll be honest, it did become a little real. And I'm like,
really?
This motherfucker. Yeah, because I'm like, honestly, in my brain, and this is the misfire. I'm going to say this is my fault. The misfire that happened in my brain was honestly this little, like this guy, he's got to pay me a little bit more respect than this is really where I was thinking.
Yes. You are the great and powerful D-Max after all, for f***'s sakes.
I know. Well, this is where my mind was at, and it's not right. It's not right. It shouldn't be that way. I shouldn't think that way.
Isn't it though?
No, it's not. It's not because I'm really not that big. I'm really not that scary. I like to pretend, but it's not true. And the thing, and I'm like, and then this is and this goes on for like, I don't know, like 2 days, 3 days. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember. It could have been even more than that. I don't remember. But at some point, I just kind of felt silly, and I'm like, first of all, and I don't mean this as like a diss or anything like that. It's gonna sound like a diss, but I swear to God, it's not. First of all, who the fuck is Spectre? Because Spectre was coming back at me, just basically saying cope, mauled, seethe, whatever, doing that, and I was getting frustrated by that,
using our stuff against us of all people.
Yeah, and that bothered me because it's just like, but engage with like an actual argument. Was what I wanted, and he wasn't giving it to me, and he was just doing kind of what, and I was like, well, I don't like this shoe being on the other foot. This isn't really fair. It's not really nice.
So you were coping, malding, and seething.
I was doing a little bit of coping, a little bit of mauling, and a little bit of seething. Yes, it's true. Okay. It is true. It is true.
Hey, we all do it. We all do
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, and then, but the thing is, he never gave up. He never ended. He never made it. And at some point, I think I think at some point he did ask for it, like not asked for it to stop, but basically was just like, is this still happening?
No, he begged. He bent the knee and cowered. He was on my stream and he bent the knee and he begged me to call off the dogs of war.
Oh, okay.
He groveled.
I didn't want to, like I said, I'm trying to kind of give Spectre the W here.
No, because, there's no mercy from me. No mercy.
Well, yeah. And so I bring it up just to be like, listen, like if this can happen to me, over something that stupid, then I am positive that it happens to other people, and I'm positive that it is sort of a problematic thing. So how about this, everybody? And this is sort of my my armistice, my hope. If there is a fake beef, and if anybody in the community, anybody who orbits or anybody who's seen this at least, gets into it at a point where they just don't really want to engage anymore because of whatever reason, I think that the safe phrase should be, I'm a neutral party. I think as soon as you say that, it's over. It's done with. It's not a big deal, and you can move on. Unless it is real on the part of the other person, in which case you guys got to have a private DM conversation at that point. You know what I mean?
No,
hash it out.
You start making more and more videos. You start getting more and more vicious, so that I have content for my morning shows.
Well, see, and this is you know what? Fine. Since you said it, Riv, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it whole face with my chest. I don't care. This is some people that are gonna be implicated with this. I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of the problem is daily content. I think part of the problem is that this is. Yeah, I think that part of the problem is that there is a never-ending need for content that just never goes away.
Pull the dagger!
I'm not even putting it into you. I'm just saying, like, in general.
You put it in me deep.
I'm not putting... Listen, I put a lot of things in.
You didn't even lube it either. You just rammed it in there, no lube.
Well, you brought it up, so I just thought I'd let you know how I was feeling about it. And I'll be honest, this is something that's been kind of floating around in my brain. I've been like, this is hard. Like, it's not... It's like so many people have gotten burnt out from this community or just burnt out from content creation just because it's like hard to find genres or topics within their niche, And it's hard to bring up, it's hard to think or to find things in commentary sometimes because sometimes there's just no milk. There's just no product. There's just nothing there,
You know, you're 100% right. There are mornings where I get up to do my show and I'm like, and here's the thing, everybody knows that Purple Paw Prince is she is my girl Friday, right? She helps me tremendous. She is, and she's making like thumbnails for people. I mean, she is really becoming a force to reckon with in this community. Not because necessarily she's a content creator, but just the fact that she is such a huge asset to the community as a whole. Period. Point blank, period, as Zali says. But even then, there's some mornings I'm like, golly. And so when I do, and I'm lucky in this aspect, because it's on brand for me, is I can spend those days where I go out and I shout out other creators and I point them to other creators' channels and, and try to bring, awareness to some of these other people out there. And so I'm very, very, very fortunate that I can do that. But then there's some days I'm just like, you know what? I just don't feel like doing that. And there's nothing out there else to talk about.
You ever seen
And
that? You ever seen that musical Firestarters? You ever seen that meme that goes around the one that's like, I don't really want to do the work today. I don't really want to
yeah,
do the work today. I don't really
yeah.
want to do the work today. Yeah,
And
it's that.
so,
Yeah.
and I've actually seriously contemplated not doing a daily stream anymore.
Hmm.
And it's like when like on usually one day a week, sometimes it's a Tuesday or sometimes it's a Friday or a Thursday, whatever, I have to go into the office and I see people out there that I know they're joking and they're jesting and they're just, saying that they miss me, whatever.
Yeah.
But people are, because we're all such creatures of habit.
Yeah.
And so,
It's the expectations there.
it's the expectation of being there. And I'm like, but here's the thing. I have to ask myself, at what point is the stuff that I'm doing just hot garbage and not
Well,
really worth making, am I just on there, whatever. And I'm so blessed in this way too, because there's days like where you'll call in, or like today, both Mitch and Zadie called in.
yeah.
Or days even where Leon and his goofy ass will call in. And we'll talk and laugh and cut it up and stuff. And the conversation itself becomes the content. And it's not that we're whatever. And so I'm so blessed that people feel comfortable to call in and do that. It's like, Zadie says that she doesn't ever have a problem calling it because she says she feels like my place is a second home for her. And I'm so glad she feels that way, that she can call in. And I think you feel the same way. Like, my channel is your channel for that aspect, for the most part. And so I like that. But I sometimes wonder if you're not right or you're not correct, this daily content stuff. Maybe I need to cut back to maybe just doing 2 or 3 days a week and not trying to do, because stop thinking about this, Max.
Yeah, go ahead.
I do. So at least I do at least 5 days a week. A coffee show is done, right?
Right.
And then and that
you're the only person
Saturdays
right now, dude. I mean, pretty much. I mean, besides like I think like Xylee, and I don't know. I mean, Xylee doesn't even do she probably. I mean, she probably streams because she's got the broadcast. I guess you and Xylee are really the only two people I can think of that are grinding this hard. The K-Huck's getting up there, but she's not quite at that thing where she's kind of doing it like every day.
Yeah.
But you guys are out here just doing the content like all the time on the grind 99. But
yeah. And then there's the podcast, the Clears Mud podcast. I mean, we're trying to get where we do a off air recording and edit it and put out once a week.
Yeah.
We didn't get one in this week, but we're trying to do that. We're trying to do a Thursday night stream and a Saturday night stream. So there's a couple of days where I'm doing a couple of shows, and then I still try to call in and participate in like Dead on Dave streams or K-Huck here recently and stuff.
I would love to participate in more streams, but I just don't feel like I have the energy.
Yeah, I'm like,
which makes me feel like a pussy because I'm like, well, just get good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's honestly,
you and I were talking. Yeah, you and I were talking the other day, and I was telling you, I was confiding in you that for the longest time I quit trying to do that because I felt like every time I did that, people would kind of always people, and I always felt like that was like taken away from whatever creator I was tuning into, right?
Right.
Even and I didn't like that. Because I don't want to take the eyes or the attention away from whoever is creating the content, because I'm there because of that creator. I want to hear what that creator's talking about. I want to laugh with him. I want to talk with whatever, and I want to be able to engage in the chat and stuff. And so I was like, I quit because I could not be in the chat and not engage because I was such a chatter for a long period of time. And that's just what's natural for me when I'm watching other creators that I enjoy. And you gave me some really good words of wisdom. And you said, you just have to do that so people are used to you seeing you in the streams so they won't react that way.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. And so I am starting to try to be more there, and I will engage at times. but I still lurk for the most part and listen. But I am trying to be more visible in that aspect, off not streaming or whatever. But and people say, oh, it's people. Yeah, I appreciate that, whatever. But let's just remember, guys, I'm a fan too, right? I still love to listen to Xylee or to Dead on Dave or to Tommy C or D-Max or whoever it is I'm in their chat listening. I'm a fan of those people, and that's why I'm there, is to listen to them because they entertain me. Because they were entertaining.
It's the job, but it's also like the hobby,
Yeah.
It's not, that doesn't go away just as soon as it does become something that you start making money with. Because I know for you, it's a little bit different. Even it's not, it's not your main, it's never going to be your main source of income. No. You don't want that. I will say that I felt that at times too, because I understand where you're coming from. And that's why I offered that advice was that I understand what it's like to be in a chat and just be like, man, I just kind of wish I was just a wallflower right now. Yeah. Like I want to make my quips and I love that people love them. But at the same time, I don't like the fact that I just halt the stream every single time I make a chat. It's like, it's a lot, it is. It makes it like a different sort of weird experience where you're just put on this pedestal and you don't really want to be because you're not there for that.
But I wonder sometimes too, is that our egos putting that pressure on us? Like, oh, well, whatever. Because even sometimes I feel like, oh, I have to call in or I have to whatever, right? And I don't want to call in. I don't want to talk. And I want them to talk. I want them to entertain. I want to sit there and laugh. I want to be entertained. I don't want to be doing all the entertaining all the time.
Right. Well, that's my problem. And this is actually seeped in even to my personal life. And this is, I have a hard time, dude. I have a hard time turning it off. Like I have a very, very hard time not being on because I'm a performer at heart. Like I am, I like to entertain. I like to make people happy. I like to dance around the stupid, silly little things where I'm like, oh no, this is, whatever. Like, I'm a party, all that shit. Like all that stuff that I do online is exactly what I do with my family or with loved ones or with friends. It's and sometimes it's just I just have days where I just don't because of that, because I can't it's both for the reason where I physically am trying, but I'm not able to turn it off, but also for the fact that I feel like I need to have it on for other people. Yeah. I just don't even want to.
Your battery is zapped.
Yeah.
That's it. Your battery's zapped, Max.
Exactly. So it's taxing and it's but also too, it's at the same time I have the mentality where I'm like, just stop it. Just don't be just get up and do it, it's kind of expanding on your stuff there, right? Yeah. So when I found you hiding out, for the lack of a better word, kind of over on Twitch doing your thing, you were streaming a couple, maybe sometimes 3 times a week type thing, right? You had a very realistic, schedule. It wasn't a
right?
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, you had a very realistic schedule. And then I manipulated you into this world, back into this thing. And I just stopped thinking about it, Max. When you came back into December, 1st of January, you have been going hot and heavy doing now recording, doing the episodes, editing the episodes. You were editing other podcasts. You were, going constantly on other streams. You called into my shows. We're doing this thing here too. You really, my friend, have you were the move. Let's not forget that horrific experience that you went through. The whole, it may be time for you to take a breather.
I mean, I don't.
Because here's the thing. You're too important, I feel, of a creator. I think your entertainment and what you offer is too important. And I don't want you to keep pushing yourself to where you're,
I appreciate that. See, this is the conversations we have off air, everybody.
Yes.
Because this happens, and we both do this for each other sometimes, because sometimes it's just we're just too in it. Here's my thing, and this is where a lot of this is kind of coming from me. I guess this is more of really just me venting more than anything. This fucking podcast. But like for me, what I am learning, what I am realizing right now is that I have always been and always will be a quality over quantity person. I am much better. For me, it's just much better. And I think just in general for my content and for the art that I want to make, it's better to see it in short bursts. It's better if it's not like, if it's calculated, if it's planned, and if it's like executed at the precise moment. And that's really where I can maximize the quality, whatever it is, my stuff, like what is actually like concentrate DMAX concentrate, right? Some people can work off of quality, some people can work off of quantity. Some people can do more stuff and have a higher threshold and a higher tolerance for being able to do that, right? And some people don't, and I am one of those people. I think I just don't really have that. So like, here's my thing is like, I don't want to take a break because I've got a lot of work still that needs to be done. There's a lot, it's constantly stuff going on for now, recording, constantly stuff for my own stuff, because I want to try to get it off the ground, make more money so that I can make a living off of this and I don't have to worry, have that added stress on top of everything else of trying to make it work. So I don't feel as though I should stop. But what I will say is that I do think that maybe I just need to do a little bit better with my, with my time management. I think I just need to like kind of start looking at things a little bit differently and just try to have a better evaluation as to like what is good with my time. And I would honestly just like, that's the thing is I think people get kind of stuck in a cycle where it's like, I have to do it this way and this is the only way kind of a thing. Yeah. And I guess what I'm saying to everybody is it doesn't, like, it really doesn't. Like you can mix things up, you can change it, you can go back. If you make a mistake, you make a change that isn't, right, you can go back and it's okay. I don't think I think there's this like weird worry, with a lot of content creators that they're all going to move on. The world is going to move on and they're not going to be like, for whatever it is, for whatever reason they need to take a break, or they need to like kind of stop down or do less, for whatever reason. There's a worry out there that it's going to go away, or that like they're not going to have the audience when they come back or something like that, or the algorithm is going to leave them behind, Mr. Beast said famously, every time that a content creator says algorithm, you have to replace that mentally with audience.
Yeah.
And that's true. So I would just say that like the audience is not going to leave you. Your audience is always going to be your audience. I think it's a misnomer that like, if you take any amount of time or if you go less or whatever it is, you won't gain or you won't be able to get it back. I would say, just for everybody from the back of the room, I am, as much as Peepaw might say this and other people in the community, and I very much appreciate them saying this is not a knock on them, but as much as I am not a particularly, I'm not a very particularly special person in a lot of regards. And I came in to X or to Twitter at the very beginning of this year with 0 follows on my account. And I am now at like 650 plus. That is a very small number in the grand scheme of things, but that's not a very, like it's a sizable amount of growth in that amount of time, because it's August, right? So that's what, 7 months, 8 months, or it's 8 months. So like in 8 months, I was able to kind of build it up. And that's from me going from like having a channel that still has like, we're at one point had like 4,000 subscribers, is down now to like, I think 3,700 or something like that. I went from, I haven't posted on that channel at all throughout this entire thing. Nope. I mean, maybe I think one short or something like that. Yeah, exactly. Right. So, but that's the thing is I was able to build it up. So like, if I can do it, then and that's after like 7, like whatever, I don't even remember, 5 years, 7 years of not doing it. If I can do it, then other people can do it. If you want to take a month-long break, fuck me. I mean, like people do that. It's okay. It's not a big deal. If you need to peel it back a little bit or do a little less, it happens. I understand people got to make a living, and that's where it gets a little hard. And that's where, YouTube gets scary. That's where content creation gets scary, but you shouldn't be pressured into feeling like you have to create fake beef, start problems,
back in July, I took a little vacation, right? I took like a week off.
Yeah.
And, I won't lie. There were days where I was like, I got to stream because I was so worried about losing momentum. on my channel. That's very, and Max would, like if I hopped on Twitter or whatever, he would be after me. He'd be like, aren't you supposed to be on vacation? Aren't you supposed to be whatever, If I popped up in a chat, Max was on me. Because he knew I needed to take a break. He knew from the conversations that we had, he understood not only was my
you'd identified. You were like, I need to take a break. It's one thing when I say somebody needs to take a break. It's another thing when somebody identifies, like they go, I do need to take a break.
Yeah. My gas tank was 100% empty. My battery was dead. My suspension was shot. And all 4 tires were flat. That's where I was at. My vehicle could not move. And I saw, each day, better, more, better. My tires got air back in them, and I got gas back in my tank and battery. And so I thought I'll go get whatever. But the problem is I had not let it completely refill. And so if you don't allow it to completely refill and get totally replenished, then all you're doing is putting a Band-Aid on a gaping wound.
Exactly. There becomes a half-life. It's like it's a shorter half-life for the amount of time before you have another thing like that.
And here's the thing too. I probably, when it gets closer to the end of the year, I may take another break. And I will unplug and I will disappear. Just to kind of recharge. I think it's important. I see these guys, like Max all the time. They just go, right? And then and they do obscure. And here's the thing: your fans. I agree with you. Your fans won't leave you as long as you don't turn your back on your fans.
Yeah.
Okay. Case in point.
Don't betray them.
Look at PewDiePie. PewDiePie was making content daily, was putting out content daily, grind, did for years. And then he quit. Him and his wife loaded up. They moved to Japan. And now he's occasionally putting out things every now and then, right? And about his experiences in Japan. But his fans are still there. His videos get phenomenal views. Right? Because he never turned his back on his fans. He never walked away from his fans.
Right.
And because now he's a husband and he's a father. And so there are things that take a bigger priority in his life. And luckily and fortunately enough, he was blessed enough to where his career has now allowed him to do that because he has the funds which he can do that. And he can be a father and a husband. And he doesn't have to worry about, the day in and day out,
right.
Drags of a job. Yeah.
But that's the thing is that content creator, like you have to keep, it's like you can't, I mean, this famously happened to Keemstar. This is kind of what, like, I mean, I know that it's not ended, but this is what ended at least the 2016 version of Drama Alert was that at a certain point, even for DJ Killer Keemstar, he ran out of content. He ran out of steam. He ran out of gas. And he just said, there's no because what's the point? What's the point in doing this if nobody's watching? What's the point of doing this if there's nothing really that big to cover? What's the point of doing this if this is just, pedo allegation number 10,852? It's like, what's the use? You know? I think a lot of people got to ask themselves this question. I think a lot of people should maybe take a step back and realize, like, hey, I mean, like, it's great. I love commentary. I love the community. I really do.
Yeah.
But it's not perfect, and it can even sometimes be a little bit of a drain for people. And I think if you're stuck in it and you're just constantly trying to make content or something, trying to constantly make it work in general, you're gonna yourself. You're gonna have a serious headache, a serious problem, and it won't be good mental health wise. So.
And let me just say this too, because I know there's some people out there that are questioning and walking away from commentary for whatever reasons. They have the reasons either personally that they're keeping to themselves or they have put forth publicly. And they think, well, I'm going to go over here to this other community because this other community is not toxic. And I got news for you. There's not one community on YouTube that is not have its problems. And there's backbiting. There is toxic behavior.
Toxicity?
Yeah, there's toxicity. There's you know, are there
there's problematic. I mean, the worst community I had
everywhere.
ever interacted with should be one of the happiest, and that's the Pokemon community. Those people fought all the time over the dumbest stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like you'd think like, oh, the drama community is definitely going to be the one that's the most. No. I will take 10 years of dealing with any sort of stupid whatever happens in commentary before I listen to 1 week of whatever bullshit was happening when I was engaged with some of the Pokemon community stuff, because that was just, oh my god. So it comes for us all, and
Sure.
it happens. So take breaks, everybody. Make sure to touch base with people that you're talking with. Know them before you actually engage in whatever it is that you're doing. Actually, it's probably a decent just thing in general. Is like you're probably just not right for talking to just about anybody unless you can make yourself known first. Make yourself known, make them known to you, because the image that you see on the screen, that's ones and zeros. Both ways. Know the person first, then if you want to around with them, you can. So, anything else you want to say on this?
Yeah, and on that note, hey D-Max.
You want to see my Pecker?